Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today I'm super excited to share 20 projects created with the Simon Says stamp limited edition 2023 holiday tag kit. I've got lots and lots of tags plus 3 fun cards to share with you today. I always like to show a variety of different projects with these amazing kits. This is probably one of my very favorite kits that Simon Says Stamp does all year. I am a huge tag fan, so this is always a fantastic kit. So we're going to start by doing a little unboxing. I've taken it out of the box. We're going to take it out of the bag and see what's inside. So we've got tags, of course, lots and lots of fantastic tags. Some cube inks, some rainbow sponge daubers, or not rainbow daubers, but sponge daubers, candy canes, tags, bags, a new layering stencil set, some fantastic dies, an ink cube holder, some stickers, lots of amazing pattern paper. I love this pattern paper. Like every single piece of paper is gorgeous in here, and of course a fantastic new layering stamp set and some cardstock and specialty cardstock. We are going to start by creating some tags, and I will be kind of going back and forth just as inspiration strikes, I guess I should say, during the video. I've got my glass mat from Simon Says Stamp. I have got some of these manila tags and my ink holder where I am going to go, or the cube holder, and I am going to place these inks in there. We're just going to pop them all out. We have Tropic Cherry Kale, and I already forgot the last color. And we're just going to place them all in here very easily so that they're not going to go anywhere while we do our ink blending. Now, for this particular project, I did choose to use the round ink blending tools from Simon Says Stamp and not the sponge daubers. I'm going to save the sponge daubers to use a little bit later on for another project. I like to kind of keep my sponge daubers like per color, like I do my rainbow blending brushes, so I don't want to mix the colors up here. Using the round blending brushes, I am going to start applying the color. Our candy canes are going to be pink and red. Then the bow will be red. We will have some greenery with our Tropic as well as our Kale inks, and then the beautiful little holly berries and leaves. I actually stenciled a lot. Now, I started with this project because this is one of those projects that you can create multiples very easily. Maybe you need a bunch of tags for gift giving and you want to go ahead and do something like this where you mass produce, or you want to put this on a card. You can do that too. There are lots of different ways to utilize this set. I am going to build obviously all of my greenery and candy cane and things here. Like you're seeing, and I am going to do this. I think I did this on about 5 manila tags, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's some shape tags, and I am going to do the same thing on those. So you have so many options in this kit, as well as you can make your own tags, or maybe you have some at home. And it's a really great way to quickly and easily have a lot of really great tags. Now, as cute as this is, just like this, you guys know I always tend to like to go overboard just a little bit. And I am going to be doing a little bit extra in addition to just the plain stenciling. And I shouldn't say plain stenciling because I think it's pretty amazing, but we can always kind of level it up, if you will. Once I have my tags stenciled, I am then going to place them in a MISTI with one of my favorite background stamps. I have used this many times in my videos here on my channel. This is called Old Letter from Simon Says Stamp, and I love it because there isn't any specific text. It's just literally old script lettering, like old cursive lettering. I am going to use my inks to stamp on these. I can get about 2 done at once, which I also really love. And I am only going to do this, I think, on the larger manila tags. Now, I love how this looks. It will lighten a little bit as that ink absorbs, but I'm also going to go around the edges then of my tags with that same color that I used to stamp over it and just kind of soften and blend out the edges. I love doing this when I have done some stenciling. I love text over the top, and then I love that little bit of ink blending. This will fade just a little bit. Now, I will be doing another little technique with the other colors when I use the Kale and the Tropic inks to do the same thing. For those, we're going to use second generation stamping, meaning you ink up your stamp, you stamp it off on a scrap piece of paper, then you stamp it over the design so that it automatically has a much lighter effect. So that will be what I do for the remaining tags. I decided to kind of mix it up, do them all in different colors. I am adding some crystal lacquer. You can use Glossy Accents or any of your other favorite similar products here to embellish the berries. And then we will use the Sparkle Crystal Lacquer pen to embellish the candy cane, sorry. I always love a little sparkle. And these are simple things you can do to level up your design very easily. You could use them obviously as gift tags tied to presents, but they also look amazing on card fronts. I will go ahead and do the rest of the tags in some different colors. Now we are going to build some adorable little houses on tags. And I am going to do this 2 tags per house. So in the stamp set that comes in the kit, there are 3 houses. There's lots of layering images. The back of the package does show you kind of how each of these goes together. It's pretty self-explanatory, really, but I love these. And we are going to use a mix of inks. I actually did pull out my larger ink pads instead of the cubes to do this. Just felt like it was a little bit easier for this particular step. And we are going to build the houses, again, using a mix of tags. So I've got some of these more decorative tags. Then we'll also do this on the manila tags. I like a variety. I want to show you multiple ideas of how you can use these on the different tags to get really amazing results. I did pull a few additional colors from my stash in addition to just the colors that come in this kit. This is some fawn ink. I also use latte if it was on a white background or even the manila background, but the craft background I felt like it needed to be a little bit darker. I love how these look on the decorative tags. And again, I will be adding a lot of extra detail here, extra stamping, lots of stamping to really level these up. The way I like to do tags is I love something beautiful and decorative. And even though these are very easy, you can really level them up just by all of the different little parts and pieces that you add. On these, I am going to stamp a greeting down along the bottom edge right underneath the house. And you can see how different it looks from white to craft. I love that little difference. We're going to add some little holly berries. This isn't a layering set, but I am going to ink up the pieces a little bit differently. I do love using acrylic blocks for a lot of stamp layering. If it's not a super big image or I am not worried about having to stamp it more than once, I will generally pull out an acrylic block because I feel like it's a little quicker and easier. But I love the little touch of the holly and berries there. But I think we also need a wreath on the door. And I was a little concerned that it may not look great, but I ended up absolutely loving how the wreath looks on this door. This was one of those areas that I did feel like really needed the MISTI or a stamp positioner of some sort to do this so that I could stamp it multiple times and make sure and get a really good impression as I am stamping over a lighter ink color. It builds beautifully. The little bow fits within here absolutely perfectly. It's so cute. And we'll just stamp that right in. And the tags are going to be amazing, right down to the little heart coming out of the chimney. We're going to add some snowflakes around using some flannel ink, and this is where I will utilize my acrylic block. And the addition of those light snowflakes are just the perfect little touch. Let's go ahead and do some manila tags using a different house. Again, I really can't stress enough for the larger like house images, a MISTI comes in so handy, but you will see me switch to acrylic blocks as well for things like windows and such. It just was much quicker than moving that image every time. We're going to stamp the roof here. I need to re-ink that ink pad clearly because I had to stamp it multiple times to get a good impression. That's on me. I did set that ink pad aside for a little date at the spa. I love that the chimney is a separate little image that you can easily pop there and stamp. I did stamp, so you will notice a theme throughout most of my projects where there's a lot of red and green, a lot of traditional Christmas. That was very much on purpose in colorways that I often will use. So I did stamp my tree to start out with, first generation, but I'm going to grab my scrap paper now and I'm going to mask off part of it, and we're going to stamp like very, very light second generation trees so that it looks like this house is sitting in the middle of a forest. I just used a little Post-it tape to mask off parts of the house. And then I am stamping the tree with the Christmas ornaments on it so that I can do the layering. And I reused my Post-it a lot, added some little ornaments on the tree. We're adding some hearts coming up out of the chimney. And of course, snowflakes all around. I have to say, building these tags was probably my favorite thing in this video. I loved building the little house villages. I thought it was super fun on this small little real estate area to build a super fun little scene, like a little mini scene. So it was a really fun little challenge. We're going to grab a sentiment now and we will stamp it right below. I actually just opted to go ahead and use an acrylic block for that too. And I did go back after all of my crystal lacquer was dry on my candy cane stenciled tags, and I stamped Joy. I did use the MISTI so that I could just really quick stamp each of these right there on those tags, but I needed to wait for that to dry. And I'm going to go ahead and make a card now. When I looked through the paper pad included in the kit, this paper just jumped out at me. I love that it's basically, this is it. You can add a few little embellishments to your card, but the cute little house is perfection. So we're going to trim it down first, and I'm just kind of trying to get as close to it as possible, but still leave a little space. I am going to lose the text. I wanted to do a portrait style card instead of landscape, and that's okay, because look at that roof. It is a huge roof with lots of white space, and I think it's the perfect spot to add a sentiment. The back side of this paper is a red on red or tone on tone red right there, snowflake, and I am going to take one of my favorite Scallop Stitches dies, and we are going to create a little stitch border that will go down the long side of each side of this background. I love utilizing little scraps of paper this way. I feel like we really get the most like bang for our buck, if you will, when we utilize those little scraps and parts and pieces. I will even use this here in a minute to die cut some berries for some additional tags. Look how beautiful that little pop of red looks along the sides of this scene. I love it. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down in place. I want to see the stitching detail plus the little scallop. And then I'm going to just trim that up. And to me, that just frames up this cute little background perfectly. I love, love, love this so much. If you are a cross stitcher as well, or you follow me for cross stitch, doesn't this house look like some of those cross stitch designs and charts that we have, where they have like the flowers up at the roof of the house? I could totally see this kind of design in cross stitch. We're going to pop this down for the other side because I really like that little bit of red. Just trim that up like so. And I think that looks beautiful. I did place this then in my MISTI, and we're going to grab sentiments from the stamp set and a heart, and we're going to stamp them right here. I am going to stamp the large greeting and then a little phrase underneath. I'll use 2 shades of green for my merry and bright greeting, and from our home to yours is going to be in red, plus a little heart right underneath. And see how that roof just really provides the perfect opportunity to stamp a sentiment right there on the house. I love that. Let's see. We'll ink that up a little bit. I actually decided to wipe that off and then do artichoke and kale. So it's like a light green, a darker green, and then down underneath, we will do the red for the rest of our sentiment. And I think this is just perfection. I love it so much. And then again, just a little red heart underneath. That is it. This card couldn't be any simpler. It is literally paper and stamped text. But that house doesn't require anything else. So you can dress up pre-made elements like pattern paper or die cuts very simply just by doing that. Then I'm going to take some of the stripe paper also included, and not a ton of it got seen actually. I probably could have just not done this at all and just place this right on my card, but you can see a touch of it. I'm going to, and I didn't want to waste all of it back behind the panel, so I only cut strips. I probably could have even done less than this, but I love this stripe. I just love it. So we're going to place that down the sides. We'll put our panel there right in the middle and call it good. So cute. So for our next project, we're going to take the new exclusive dies included in the kit, and we are going to embellish a couple of tags with the greenery and the berry dies included, and then we will do a matching card where we embellish another little house card using some of this greenery as well. I'm just going to trim that bottom of that card up. I love it. So we've grabbed a couple of the more decorative tags again, and I started using my blending brush, and then I was like, a pouncer is going to be easier. With delicate little dies like this, try using the pouncers. And this is a great opportunity, if you don't already have some, to give them a try and see how you like them. They don't pull at the paper at all. You're just pouncing it on rather than doing that ink blending circular motion that can tear some delicate die cuts. I did use mocha and kale inks to add a little extra color to these die cuts, die cut from pattern paper. I don't think you'd even know it, that it's pattern paper by the time we get these all assembled. but absolutely amazing. So we're going to layer on the one piece with the berries and the leaves. I did use that leftover red snowflake paper from our previous card, and we will add berries for this, and then we're going to assemble these on each of the tags. And I'm just going to do the same thing for each tag. Of course, one is on white and one is on craft. I love kind of having that variety, and super simple. This would be another very easy to do mass produce project. If you want to, you could use red pearls or other gems for the berries rather than pattern paper. Love these pouncers. They work fantastic. Once I have kind of figured out how I like my greenery, we're going to glue these down on the tags, just like so. I'm going to add some crystal lacquer. You can use glossy accents or any other product like this that you like to embellish those berries. It's a very simple thing. It gives them a little more depth and dimension. I think sparkle would be awesome as well, or even Nuvo Crystal Drops and White Blizzard that I like. Or if you don't have that, some liquid adhesive with glitter would also be really pretty. Pouncing on all of our color. We're going to do the other tag really quick. And then I did stamp the Merry Christmas from the stamp set included in the kit on some of the white cardstock from the kit using the cherry ink and die cut with some sentiment label dies from my stash. And we'll pop those up along the bottom edge of our tags with foam adhesive. I'll do that here in a minute. I'm kind of letting the crystal lacquer dry a bit. On these fun decorative tags, I am going to stamp some Christmas trees. These are about the simplest design you can get, but I love how you can create your own custom design. We're going to decorate these trees up with some pretty little red. And then right through the center of each of the tags, I'm going to stamp a phrase from the stamp set. Oh, I did add a little Christmas star at the top. There are some amazing little bags included in the kit. Any of the tags would look super cute adorned on these. You could even probably add a real pretty ribbon, glue that in place. The front of the bag is clear with the printed snowflakes on it, so you will see through to the what you've put into these gift bags. But I just am going to staple one of these gift bags staple one of these tags to the gift bag to show you how cute that looks. Here's that little peace, love, and joy. Absolutely so adorable. Now, I did open up the gift bag to staple that tag in place so that I can still open up the bag to put something inside. I think these would even be awesome if you did a set of gift tags to give as a gift to somebody for them to use. You could tuck those inside. Now here is another pre-made basically card. We've got a plaid background. I used one of the little, I think they're 3x4 cards, but I did cut it down with a basic rectangle die. I've got two different pattern papers, well, three different pattern papers. I've got some sentiments from the stamp set stamped on white cardstock from the kit that I will adhere with foam adhesive, plus the greenery from the kit that we will have kind of coming up the side right there by the house. Again, I used the pouncers just like I did for those previous tags. And then we'll glue it all in place. And it's a very fast cardigan. You could even forego adding different sentiments if you want. It says home for the holidays, which is super pretty. You could stamp some additional sentiments inside your card instead of outside. depending on what you want to do there. I love that little red house with the green chimney. So cute. Now, just like the tags where I use the dies from the kit, I will be adding crystal lacquer to these and then setting this aside to completely dry. Gonna kind of finagle those together and glue them down. This adds a little bit of depth and dimension to the card, adding a little bit of greenery in here. We're going to add some little dabs of glue and grab our little paper berries. You can leave them plain as well. I just tend to love to add something dimensional like glossy accents to them. I forgot to mention, for the backgrounds on this card, as well as the last card that I'm going to create here in a minute, I did use basic rectangles. I actually used basic rectangles for the first card I made as well. If I ever want to die cut a specific place in pattern paper and I don't want to guess with my paper trimmer, I will use rectangle dies so that I can place them right where I want to cut and then die cut. I did that for each layer of this card. So all 3 layers were die cut with a basic rectangle die from Simon Says Stamp, including that little house piece there, which does end up being a little smaller than 3x4 so that it fits with the A2 card design. For our last card, it's going to be a little more involved. It's going to be more like start to finish, I guess I want to say, where we stamp everything that's the embellishment for the card using the stamp set. We're going to stamp an entire little village on some of the white cardstock included in the kit. So I will have all 3 houses, some trees. Then once we have the majority of this panel stamped, I will trim this down. We will be die cutting with that Scallop Stitches die again using the red holographic paper included in the kit to frame this up, and then placing it on the rest of that beautiful stripe background that I used for the first card, but a lot more of it will show on this card. Well, a little bit more. I kept with the same color palette. I had all these inks out already and I kind of loved it. I did stamp all of these upside down. I don't know why. I think sometimes I feel like I can stamp a little bit straighter this way. I did leave a little bit, you can see a little bit of white space. I didn't put the stamp right up next to the edge of the Misty. I will trim with my paper trimmer right along that edge here in a little bit. But I want to get my whole little village built first. And I am doing all of the stamp layering, I suppose, for this is how you want to say that. So we have the houses and the doors, and we'll add wreaths and the lights on in the windows and the doors and the chimneys, all of that good stuff. Isn't that row of houses so super cute? Another fun idea that I did not do, I considered it, but I think it would be adorable to do a row of houses in rainbow, like on a slimline style card, and you could do them all in rainbow, and I think that would be very, very cute and fun. I will be utilizing that 2nd generation stamping for my trees here on this card as well, so that I can make it look like a little bit fuller around my little village. We're gonna do all of our layering. I did most of the layering with the Misty. I will use my acrylic blocks for some of the things again. We're going to put the wreath. I had to pick a door that was light, so the one here in the center seems to be a good one, so that the ink shows up over it. And we'll add our bow. My favorite part is always the embellishing that comes here in a bit, which is going to be like some pin detail and some sparkles and all of that good stuff. And now we're taking some citrine ink and turning on the lights in all of the windows. And we're going to mask off the house with our Post-it tape. Now, I did stamp this in cabbage the first couple times, and I left this in just to show you that it was very light. So I actually stamped it off again and stamped it a third time, and I still wasn't super happy with it. I just don't think the cabbage is the right color of ink, so I'm going to use artichoke instead. I used kale for the tree next to it. So I'm going to stamp it off and use second generation of the artichoke. And I think that looks a little bit better, shows up a little bit better. So that's what we're going to do with that one. And don't forget the chimneys. I almost forgot our chimneys, and I think they add so much to our village. We got to have a little chimney on each of the houses so we can have little hearts coming up and out, or at least on a couple of the houses. Maybe I didn't do all three. All right, I am going to flip around now so that I can do the other side with trees. That's some kale. And then we'll do a little artichoke next to it. Couple places, I like that. Our little village or neighborhood is coming to life. All right, let's go ahead and trim this down. I want to leave enough room up above the chimneys to do a little more stamping. We want to do some snowflakes and some hearts coming out of those chimneys. We're going to trim right along the bottom to give a nice clean edge. Look how cute! I love that striped paper. That's going to be super fun. If you wanted, you could even mask off above the roof lines and do some second or third generation trees so that it really looks like there's a huge forest back behind. I wish I would have thought of that earlier, but I didn't. So now lots of awesome snowflakes in this set. We're going to stamp those all around. Don't forget our little hearts. Got our large and small hearts. And then I did several different snowflakes all over. Oh, the little star on the Christmas tree. And then this is flannel ink for the snowflakes. Really light and subtle, but it finishes out our little winter neighborhood scene perfectly. Now, just like before, I did take one of the Scallop Stitches border dies, and I am going to die cut that red holographic cardstock included in the kit, and that's what we're going to use to frame up our neighborhood scene before placing it on the striped pattern paper. And that looks awesome. The final thing for this card is adding a sentiment and embellishing. I decided I loved adding the sentiment right there in the center of the design. So we are going to place the stamp right in the center, stamp it with black ink, glue our panel down to a white side fold card base. I've added some sparkle embellishment to the hearts and the star and the Christmas tree, plus some white accents on the wreath. Let's take a look at all 20 projects. We've got 3 cards. We have a couple of die-cut embellished gift tags, stamped village gift tags in manila, as well as some decorative sizes, some fun candy cane stenciled gift tags in lots of different sizes and styles, plus the gift bag. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this video featuring the Simon Says Stamp Limited Edition 2023 Holiday Tag Kit. The supplies I used to create these projects are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new paper crafting video or I go live. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.